A lot of YouTubers might hate me for this video. Hello developers, so happy to kick off this 2021 with my second video. But before I start, I want to ask you, what are your goals for 2021? Write them in the comments below, and at the end of the year, we could check up on those goals, keep each other accountable, and make sure that we were able to kill it, or maybe we failed in certain aspects. Either way, write them in the comments below so we can keep each other accountable. So today's topic might be a teeny bit controversial, especially because I met a lot of YouTube creators and they happen to also be curriculum creators as well. But you know what? Let's spark some debate. Let's have this open conversation and see what other people think about it. So of course, based on the title, you'll already know what I'm going to be talking about, which is the dark side of Udemy tutorials. If you're not familiar with Udemy, Udemy is a platform where a student can learn various different things about any different type of topic. So you can learn a language, you can learn videography, photography, whatever you're looking for. I'm pretty sure Udemy has it. But since this is a coding YouTube channel, let's focus on the coding tutorials or the coding courses on Udemy. The major attraction Udemy has over, say, a coding bootcamp or even some other platforms like Skillshare is the very, very generous price point. A lot of times you could find a great deal for like $10 to $15. And from a student perspective, it's a pretty low commitment in terms of a financial investment. This is super appealing to us because as humans, we appreciate value, and rather than paying like $15,000 for a course, if I could potentially learn the same thing at $10 to $15, why not do it? Udemy has been blowing up for the past 5 years. And personally for me, I took a course in React that really helped me land my second job. And so I will always be forever grateful for being able to take a course on Udemy with specific React courses and just really supplementing my coding journey. But that's the thing I want to point out. I didn't use Udemy as my only source of learning how to code. By then, I was already 3 months in to a bootcamp. I graduated. I knew how to code in Ruby and Ruby on Rails. I knew some basic JavaScript. So what I was looking for was material to help supplement my learning and specifically front-end development. So this is the first thing I want to point out, is that finishing a coding course does not necessarily make you software developer ready in terms of finding a job or working as a professional developer. This is where the disconnect lies for people trying to get into software development. They say, don't go to a coding bootcamp, take this Udemy course instead. And I'm not advocating for you to go to a coding bootcamp, but saying that taking a Udemy course as a complete alternative to coding bootcamp is a little misleading in my opinion. The major problem with Udemy courses is that they're there to teach you something, but not necessarily make you job ready for software development. But I could already see the responses. Alex, don't you need the skills to become a software developer? And yes, I do agree that is the case. And most definitely, if you don't have the skills, then you cannot be a software developer. The biggest problem with these courses, and it's not the fault of the content creators, it's just the nature of a tutorial, is that they're hand holding you from beginning to end. When you're following a tutorial and writing the code along with the instructor, you're writing code in a pretty unrealistic environment. First, you're more or less copying what the instructor is writing. And second, your instructor already went through all the pains and gripes of just debugging and figuring out what the actual issue is. And I bet you $100 that if instructor did mess up, he probably didn't include that as part of the tutorial series. It's because you want to make sure that as an instructor that you're giving a seamless process from beginning to end. But the reality is that as a software developer, you're gonna screw up, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to have to learn how to fix your mistakes. But with these tutorials, it's just such an easy process from beginning to end that you don't really realize that this is not a realistic setting that a normal software developer is in. Landing that first job isn't about how well you took a course or how many projects you built. Projects are important, but it's about the grind and how you were able to overcome some difficulties to build your project. If all of your projects are created because you copied some tutorial, then it doesn't really show a good reflection of how great you are as a software developer. Being a great problem solver as a software developer comes with experience, and the only way you could get that experience is by practicing, and practicing. Yes, everyone says that building a project will make you a software developer, and you know what? That is the truth. You can't become a good software developer if you're not actually going through the struggles. Even if it means spending like 2 or 3 days on a single bug, don't feel like you're wasting time. If anything, you're finding value in being able to debug, being able to Google for issues, being able to actually solve things by yourself. It's like you're trying to solve a math problem, but instead of actually taking the effort to analyze and figure it out, you just go into the back of the book to look up the solution and be like, oh, okay, I get it now. That is not a good way for you to become a truly good software developer, because there isn't going to be like a cheat sheet whenever you're building an application for your employer. At the end of the day, Udemy courses kind of gives you a SparkNotes version of how to become a software developer. But truthfully speaking, when has SparkNotes ever been better than the original? Beyond the fact that the courses seem curated for the students to make sure it's a seamless process, my second point could be a little bit more controversial. The second thing I want to talk about is course creators are running a business. And in essence, be careful what you buy. It's pretty obvious. If these course creators aren't working full time, they need to make money somehow. And building course content is actually a very good way to help people how to code, but at the same time make some money. Even as a coding bootcamp graduate, I realized in 2021, the landscape has changed where a lot of these coding bootcamps are going online. So this is not like a support for going to a coding bootcamp school necessarily, but just like you would research when trying to attend a coding bootcamp school, why not research the course itself to see if it's actually relevant to your software development journey? I'm not in the camp that all courses should be free. These resources do exist though, like Free Code Camp, Odin Project, Codecademy has some free courses as well. But if you're gonna be paying for something, why not make sure you're getting value from what you're paying, even if it is $10 to $15? Compared to the other fields, I know for a fact that these course creators are not like these online fake guru scammers. I feel like a majority of these course creators genuinely want to help you learn how to code. But my point is, these courses are there to help you learn a new technology, not necessarily help you find a job. To be fair, fake gurus always promise some kind of rich and luxurious lifestyle. A lot of these content and curriculum creators, what they are mostly focused on is helping you learn React, helping you to learn PHP, helping you to learn a specific technology. They don't really guarantee that you're going to do anything with it. And that's why for me, Udemy has always been more of a supplemental information, not necessarily the only source of truth to help me become a software developer. This is why I feel that a lot of new and upcoming developers fall into the mistake of hoarding a bunch of Udemy courses or signing up for a course that isn't really relevant to helping them find a job. I saw this example pretty clearly when Dino.js came out. And a lot of content creators were talking about Dino.js and what they expect from it. And you know what? I don't mind those videos. I saw Traversing Media create a crash course on YouTube for free about Dino.js. And I really appreciated that. He was very transparent about his opinions about like where the landscape is going and if Dino.js is something you should learn right away. But he didn't charge you money to learn it. If you wanted to learn it and spend time, then do it. But I also noticed on the other end of the spectrum that people were creating courses on Udemy and it said experience required, no experience required, or no experience with Node or Dino.js required. And although that's true, I think it's kind of misleading to have very new developers start their coding journey learning Dino.js. What I found suspect, and I could be in the minority here, is that people are charging money for a Dino.js course. And even if it was meant to be just a learning platform, what if 10% of those people enrolled were just completely new developers? Does learning Dino.js really help a new developer become a software developer? I doubt it. If anything, I would recommend just learning fundamentals of JavaScript, learn Node.js and not Dino, and try to figure out ways to build out applications using tried and tested infrastructure. As course creators, I feel like there is kind of like an obligation to let the user know, hey, this course is meant for intermediate or experienced developers because you probably don't want to learn Dino.js. And they don't really do that. And that kind of sometimes does irritate me or irk me in some way, because as influencers, I feel like we do have an obligation to steer new developers in the right way. If you go on Indeed and look up Dino.js developers, you're gonna notice that there's barely any companies really looking for that particular skill. So what's the point of learning it? Yes, you might be ahead of the curve, but if no jobs are requiring it, why are you learning it if you're a new developer? Stealing a line from Coding Phase, if little Billy took a course on Dino, would he become a desirable software developer? Probably not. You want to be learning the technologies that will help you get the job, and in this case, it's pretty evident that Dino is not really highly sought after. This is why, as a new developer, at the end of the day, you need to do your own due diligence. Don't even listen to me. Maybe I'm giving you bad advice. Either way, it's good to see various different opinions about certain things and if it's actually worth your time to learn specific technologies. Yes, these topics are great for debate and it's really good to talk about these things. But in terms of your learning, I would highly recommend to just focus on the ones that are tried and tested. Don't fall for the hype, and beyond the idea of, oh, it's only $10 to $15, just think about your time. In this case, your time is super valuable and you want to make sure you're optimizing your time to help you become, like I said again, a software developer. In my opinion, courses like that are a waste of time if you're starting off, because there's just so many more fundamental things you should learn. In college, you take lower level classes so you could build a foundation to take those upper level ones. That's why you start off as a first year learning all of those things. By the time you get to your fourth year, you have those fundamentals ready to go and solve complicated problems. But hey, my opinion might change. I might make a course maybe this year or next year, and I would like to think that I would be pretty transparent about who my target audience is for. But you just never know, right? And that's the point of my video right now. I don't make money off YouTube right now. I don't make courses. I'm just a software developer who works full time and just giving you my honest opinion about this space. I respect the grind and hustle for all of these content creators and curriculum creators, but I think there is also kind of like an obligation as influencers of the space to try to help people become software developers, not just build a course for the sake of building a course. I think I rambled enough, and I hope you kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to talk about. Either way, 2021 is here. Let's have some lofty goals to try to accomplish, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.